I'm really excited to meet you and share my feelings and share my ideas with you. As you are aware, if you go through the history of English language teaching, there are different phases in the history of English language teaching. So many years ago, during early 2000, English was taught in schools just for the elites, people who have come from the upper strata of the society. But after independence, school education became common and it became available to members of most of the groups, even to the downtrodden section. But still, during that time, English was taught as an elite subject. During that phase, teaching of English was strictly based on the structural approach. If you want to learn English, you have to learn the structure of English. You have to master the structure such as pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, then only you will be able to learn English. But during 70s occurred a paradigm shift in the teaching of English. Instead of structure-first approach, instead of structure-based approach, the pedagogy gave importance to the meaning-focused approach. But during 90s, definitely there was a paradigm shift as part of Kerala Curriculum Framework 2007. And even late 90s, during the era of DPEP, there was a paradigm shift in English language teaching where we envisaged a learner-centered, activity-based, process-based curriculum where we are not teaching the structure in the beginning. We are not teaching the structure, we are not teaching the alphabet, but we are creating situations, language acquisition situations, a lot of student-friendly situations where students will be able to acquire a language system. And later, if necessary in meaningful context, we will come back to learning of grammar, learning of vocabulary and so on. But we are not isolating them and teaching as such. So thus came an integrated approach in which all language skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing, all language skills are integrated. And we came out with the meaningful teaching of discourses during the era. But COVID-19 has changed everything. Till COVID-19 from 2020 March onwards, we have believed in social constructivism, child-centered pedagogy, and after all, and occasionally we have been integrating some ICT elements, information communication technology elements in the teaching of English. So today, if you divide the history of language teaching or history of teaching in general into two phases, you can see phase before COVID and phase after COVID. The phase after COVID has changed everything. So when before COVID came, we were familiar with educational technology. We were familiar with a lot of training. So as part of KIT Kerala and former ITH school, government has leveraged training of teachers to use ICT, to use computers, and also to use YouTube, also to use WhatsApp and so on. But when everything came to a standstill, when schools were closed in the state and at the global level, most of the countries, especially the countries like India, countries like Pakistan, most of the Asian countries, they do not know what to do. Actually, I came to KIT. Before that, I was working in Samagra Shiksha Kerala. During the month of 2020, January, I was appointed as consultant in English and pedagogy, senior consultant of KIT Kerala. So as COVID pandemic started, it started during the month of 2020, January in China. It came to Kerala also during the end of January. But the school education came to a standstill in Kerala and even in the global scenario from March 2020 onwards. I think you all remember what happened after the 12th of March. On 12th of March, there was a shutdown of schools in the entire country. It began in Kerala first, and we do not know what to do. From March 2020, 10th March 2020 onwards, the department was thinking. So everybody thought of an online mode of teaching. But exactly we have no experienced what online mode of teaching. But in teacher training in across the world, they have used online mode of teaching. Because I myself, I have acquired 2 online mode degrees from US and UK. But during that time, online mode was through a specific platform, namely Moodle platform, developed and customized by foreign universities. But they gave training only to 40 or 50 or 80 teachers. But in the context of Kerala, there are more than 14,000 schools, and there are about 42 to 44 lakh students in the state. So how to roll out a mass education during using technology? So how to roll out a mass education for all students starting from classes 1 to 12? That is a big challenge for the state. And it was also a big challenge for we people who are working in the domain of education in places like SCRT, KITE, etc. So the sudden transition, the sudden change to online learning as a result of pandemic has triggered huge result in the, or a huge change in the understanding of our pedagogy. So I told you already, educational technology tools were being used even before the pandemic, but they were never adopted in such an unprecedented massive scale. We have been using technological tool only for addressing a fixed set of students. But these technological tools were never used in a massive scale for educating large number of students. For example, a teacher teaching in class 4 or class 5 may be addressing to more than 5 lakh learners. Okay, so it also became clear that, so we have started massive online teaching programs for the inclusion and for the learning and for enhancing the learning achievement of all the learners. But even after COVID, we are sure that these systems, these online education systems are here to stay due to their immense advantages. So we cannot go, even in the post-COVID era, we cannot continue without using technology. So we have to use a mixture of what you have been doing so far, and also we have to mix it, the ICT element into this. So without which we cannot continue our education in our state. This is one point I would like to tell you as an introduction. And I would like to add one more thing. My own experience in the department in KITE Victors and my discussions with SCRT and SSK. So we do not know how to proceed. We don't know what should be an online class will look like. And we do not know how teachers will come up, because teachers teaching in first standard, second standard, up to 12th standard, they should plan and they should come and they should deliver the lessons. And what should be the learner of lessons? How should these lessons be different from ordinary lessons that we roll down in our classrooms? We have no idea. But we have discussed. And during 2020, June 1st onwards, for 1 week, we delivered some sample lessons. But there was a big problem. The big problem was, number one was access. What do you mean by access? Access means whether electronic gadgets and internet connectivity are available to all the students in every nook and corner of the state. Number one, do the children have connectivity? Do the children have at least connectivity, electricity, available of electric connection, internet connection, and a computer or a laptop or a smartphone, or at least a what is called a TV set through which they have access to Victor's channel lessons? This was an issue, but the government has done a lot during 2020 and 21st to what is called to level the digital divide, to bridge the digital divide. So bridging the digital divide in a country like India is a Herculean task. But as far as Kerala is concerned, we have almost 88% of digital access. But this year, we have made it almost 98 or 99. But still, there are vulnerable sections in our society whose habitations are deep in the forest. So they have no connectivity. So they have to come to a common place, some learning center, and from there will be electrical connectivity, and they can view the lessons through TV, or they can view the lessons through already pre-recorded lessons through laptops, etc. So these are some of the challenges, but I will go through the structure of my presentation. I'm going to divide my presentation into 7 parts. The first part is almost over, the introduction part. Second part is, what are the academic issues that we even present today? What are the academic issues? Third part, what are the challenges in the larger context? Not only for English, but also for all teachers. What are the challenges in general? So now, another one, how COVID-19 has changed the pedagogy in general, and what are the factors that triggered the change? What are the factors that accelerated the change? Fifth one. Sixth one is the main thing for you. What are the major challenges of English language teachers today? What are the major challenges we are all facing? We are all means teacher teaching in English from first standard to class 12. What are the major challenges? And ultimately, I'm talking about, so presently we have got a customized platform by Kite called G Suite, SUITE, not a G Suite. Suite means SUIT. SUIT means a suit a coat which we wear over our shirt. That is SUIT, suite. But it is SUITE, G Suite. G Suite is a classroom where you can deliver the lesson, where you can give chances for presentation to teachers, feedback by the teacher, assessment by the teacher. It's more or less like a real classroom. Okay, you have got a number of factors which are same factors that are available to an ordinary teacher in regular classroom. Those features, those strategies, those techniques for teaching, techniques for assessment, techniques for group work, techniques for mentoring, they are all available for teachers. So I'll be talking about the customized platform by Kerala for all teachers to teach. Suppose I am teaching in a particular school in Kannur or Kasaragod or Thiruvananthapuram, I myself can teach my students using G Suite. Ultimately, we want that. The online education or the digital education which we are speaking about is a mass education. Education by one teacher addressing all the 5 lakh students in studying in one class. That is not good. Why? Because all children are different. So we have got in a classroom, we have got children who are very good, some 1 or 2%, children who are average, children who are below average, children who are disadvantaged in every way. So therefore, considering the student community right from Manjeshwaram to Manjeshwar to Parashala, we have got learners learning a subject at different levels. An online teacher cannot address all these things. But a regular teacher who is teaching in the classroom, he can address to all these differences that are among the teachers. That is why the present online teaching that we are doing through Kite Victors, that will help learner as a sample, help learner as a reference, help learner as a reference material, help learner as a sort of class for giving input to the learners. But that will not address to all the learning needs of different levels of learners, heterogeneous types of learners in our classroom. Therefore, only the real teacher's class to one's own teacher may be the only alternative to the online teaching. So therefore, in future, what I would like to say, the online mode as well as the online mode by one's own class teacher will continue in the future. They will coexist in the future. So we call that a type of blended learning. Blended means mixed, blended learning. So the post-COVID era is an era of blended learning. That is what I would like to say. Now let me come to the academic issues. So coming to the academic issues, the state has to provide access to all the learners access to all the learners by providing them computer or mobile phone, electrical connection, and also they should be trained in using that. Suppose there are 3 children in a particular home. If they have got only one gadget, only one telephone set, only one mobile phone set, that may not be available for all learners. So we need 3 gadgets for them. So therefore, so after providing access, I would like to tell you Kerala is number 1 in the state and even number 1 across the globe, where we have completed, almost completed, not fully completed, the access of bridging the digital divide and providing sets to all learners. But remember, in addition to providing access to the learners, there are some other problems still we are facing. What are some other problems? Support to teachers in order to incorporate online tools in the instructional pedagogy. So teachers may have, you might have given some training, but that is not a complete training. That is not a comprehensive training where it enables teachers to use, teachers to integrate, teachers to effectively make use of technology tools in the instructional pedagogy. That is number 1. Second challenge is pedagogic practices undertaken by the teacher that should correspond to the pedagogic practices of the teacher should correspond to that should be in tune with the pedagogic needs, learning needs, and current level of competency, current level of knowledge of the learners. Suppose I know one technology skill and I can address only to good learners, and I cannot address the so-called, low level of learners, the learners who are struggling learners of English. That means I am not addressing the needs of the learner. I am not considering the present English level competency of the learner. That is the second problem. Third problem is student attitude, student motivation. This is a grave problem in Kerala. Initially, almost all the students started watching the online classes. But presently, the number of students watching the online classes have decreased. Why? We are not able to maintain student motivation. We are not able to maintain student interest. And we are not able to sustain the student motivation. Who will do that? The system cannot do that. System can do to certain extent by giving interesting classes, lively classes, classes that engage the learners, classes that will give them maximum language learning input using novel technology. Okay, but even the individual teacher, headmaster, head teacher, individual teacher, and even the department, AEO, DO, etc., they should also do something to motivate the learners. So therefore, learners' attitude such as motivation for learning and need to sustain learning is a big problem in the state, not only in the state, a big problem across the world. So I would like to say these are the 3 major academic issues. One is to train teachers to use the learning tools, digital tools for a pedagogic practice. Number 2, the so-called pedagogic practices should correspond to the needs of the learners, correspond to the current level of knowledge of the learners. Finally, we should be able to sustain the motivation of the learners. So now, after this, I would like to say there are 10 challenges. There are 10 challenges that students face, that teachers face, and also people like me who are facing as part of the system. You are all part of the system, but we are part of the system in which we are formulating the policies, we are giving you the online classes, we are coordinating all these efforts. So what are the 10 challenges? Number 1, that is related to access. We do not have reliable internet connection to digital devices. We do not have. Even today, I am struggling. I don't know whether I will be able to address you for 1 hour. I cannot say. So there are not reliable connectivity to the devices. Secondly, the economic, sorry, and also same thing, the economically weaker sections, they are unable to afford online classes. Second one, online education has a risk factor. What is a risk factor? Exposure to increased screen time. Exposure to increased screen time, no, it's a very big challenge for students. So what are the students supposed to? Students have to watch through Victor's channel telecast. They have to watch the classes of the individual teacher, her own teacher. And sometimes some students, not in lower classes, in higher classes, they go for tuition classes and they have to listen to those classes. Some parents also buy some other online agencies classes, they have to watch that classes too. So how it will affect the risk of exposure to increased screen? Therefore, student engagement will be minimum in that case. They will be just going to the class and listening for listening's sake. Third one is, that is a big issue, lack of parental guidance. So this is a very important factor. Parents come as a very important group, very important vulnerable session in our present. That's the third factor. Fourth one, there are a lot of practical issues such as whether there are sufficient space in the homes for, suppose there are 3 children, where there are 3 separate rooms for them, sufficient space in the house. And another thing, really there are some good children who are innately motivated. Innately motivated children will learn better. They don't need any other motivation. But those children who belong to vulnerable groups. Vulnerable groups means children from tribal areas, SC, ST areas, coastal areas, and even children with learning difficulties, and also children who are low proficient learners. All these children, their academic performances through online classes will be poor. Definitely, if you conduct a survey now, if you conduct a countrywide survey or Kerala-based survey now, you can find out that poor reading comprehension, and even poor mathematical skills, poor process skills, it has come down during the last 1.5 years. That is a sixth one. Seventh one, what about the student assessment? Are we incorporating continuous and comprehensive assessment as part of online classes? No, it is very difficult. It is very difficult. All the teachers say, I will give an assessment. The next class, they will show some good they will show some good results, but that is not assessment. They are taking only the products of learners whose achievements are good. What about the learners who are average or below average, or the struggling learners? So therefore, the internal assessment such as continuous and comprehensive assessment is not possible in the present system. But let us hope that in GSUIT, if you do further research and if you come out with a very good platform, all this may be possible. And another one, the social emotional learning. School is not merely a place for teaching maths, teaching English, teaching science. It is also a place for their sharing, for their friendship, sharing meals, how to behave with others, how to control one's emotions, how to accept the ideas of others, how to participate in a debate, how to present one's own idea before others. Even shy learners know they will have friendship. All this come under what is called a social emotional learning. We know that in addition to intelligence, there is something called emotional intelligence. I don't think child will get a lot of emotional intelligence, or even know what is called multiple intelligence aspects from a mere online class. So therefore, another issue is poor social emotional learning during the pandemic. Next one is, remember, online exploitation and cyberbullying. What is online exploitation? There are a lot of people who are perhaps uploading some bad content and attracting learners and bullying them, seducing them. So therefore, chances for exploitation and even cyberbullying. And the last one, teachers are also in dilemma. What about the teachers? Teachers do not know whether I can connect to my students through WhatsApp group or Zoom group or Google Meet. So what the system has finally come out with the Google Suite. So during the last 1 year and 3 or 4 months now, the system was not able to come out with a common platform which teachers can use, through which teachers can do everything. Teachers can present the lesson and give chances for learners to listen, speak, read, write, and to support them, mentor them, and also to assess them and to give feedback to them. If all the things what we do in our regular classroom, that is possible in an online class, that platform is the best platform. So these are the general challenges. So now, remember one thing, because of COVID, we have changed over to a few things. What are the few things? A shift towards flexible learning models. What is flexible learning model? Presently, before COVID, we have got only one learning model. What's a learning model? Teaching by the teacher in the regular classroom. Teaching by the teacher by the regular classroom is the only learning model. Now, what is the another learning model? It can be either a synchronic learning model or an asynchronic learning. What is synchronic? SYNCHRONIC, synchronic learning. So now you are doing synchronic learning, face-to-face interaction with me through Google Meet. And I can talk to you and you can ask me questions. You can even mail me some doubts, which I will mail you back. So there is a sort of integration going on. That is called synchronous. But what KITE is doing is asynchronous. What is asynchronous? We are just telecasting or webcasting a pre-recorded lesson. Suppose Jansi or Subramanian, they come for our class, they will send me the teaching manual or the script. They will send me advanced, discuss with me. They will give me a teaching script. And I go through the script or the module and I offer some changes. And afterwards, they will sit down and they will think of what kind of teacher talk should be used. What kind of audio input should be used? What kind of video input should be used? Etc. They will think and they will think about the activities. They will come out and present before the class. During the class, there will be cameramen, there will be a producer, there will be people like me who will look into their subject, content of the subject or the delivery. We will correct it. Finally, there is editing. After editing, we will show it through Victor's channel and also it will be sent to Facebook and YouTube. So therefore, students can watch the pre-recorded classes. That is called asynchronous. So asynchronous is something already prepared and the learners are watching. So now today there is a change from asynchronic class means you can watch at any time. You can watch through Victor's channel or later you can download it from YouTube and you can watch it multiple times. This is not possible unless you record it. This is not possible to watch again and again and again. Okay. So, and there is more increased use of technology in student presentation and assessment, second one. And what are the factors? What are the factors that necessitated the need for online classes? Number one, 21st century skills. What are 21st century skills? Using digital technology, enhancing communication skills, enhancing digital literacy, enhancing creativity, enhancing one's critical thinking. All these activities bundled together, taken together are known as 21st century skills. Number one, the new student expectations. Remember, 21st century students or students who are born after 2010 or 2016 are different species. They are always exposed to media. They are always exposed to technology, YouTube, etc. Even 6-year-old children are making YouTube channels. When I was a student, I could never imagine now listening to a radio. TV came later in my life. But these children who are born after 2010 or 2015, they have different expectations than ours. So another one, advent of new technologies. So what is augmented reality? All these things was not available. All these things were not available long ago. So augmented reality, etc. Then flipped classroom model. What is flipping classroom? So what is the present classroom model? Teacher will come to the class. Teacher will read a lesson. Teacher will explain. Learners will present something. Then we will assess them. We will give them feedback. We will give them score. This is the regular classroom model. But in a flipped classroom, what will be happening? The teacher will make a presentation on a topic for 10 or 15 minutes. That learner can access online. So suppose tomorrow morning, I am going to take a class. Today, I will give them an online class using Google Meet or G Suite or Zoom. I will give them a class for 20 to 25 minutes. And I will give them, today I have presented the first part of the story, so and so. Okay, any lesson, take any lesson. The lesson by Ruskin Bond in 7th standard or lesson by Shankar in 6th standard, take the class. I will take first 4 or 5 paragraphs through Google Meet and I will give them some questions. Tomorrow you discuss and present all these answers to these questions before the class. Tomorrow morning when I go to the class, I am not doing the reading. I am not going through the vocabulary. I am not going through the comprehension questions. The students are presenting their answers to the questions. They are coming out to their comments on the characters. They are coming out with which character they like the most and why, etc. And teacher will be quiet. Later, after presentation, teacher will be giving them feedback. And teacher will give them how to correct. So we are flipping the class or reversing the classroom process. So in today's classroom, so after the advent of the changed pedagogy, it is only 30 minutes. Teacher begins a class, unable to complete the class and go back. So therefore, this is an answer to that. Flipped learning is an answer to that. The major explanation by the teacher can be included in the online class. Remaining can be done in the regular face-to-face classroom. This is known as a flipped classroom. Okay, that is, we are flipping, we are reversing the classroom process. So these are called flipped models. And also, another change is we are using a lot of animation. We are using many open educational sources. What are open educational sources? We are not, downloading from YouTube. You cannot do that. You can do it for your own classroom, but you cannot do it through Victor's channel. We will not allow it. Because YouTube will file case against us. But when an individual teacher for his individual classroom, something like YouTube you can download and use. So the use of multimedia resources are possible today. It was not possible before 2010 or 2006. So what are the multimedia resources? Animation, rich graphics, video, audio clips, and so on. So in an online class, all these can be used. Then new assessment technologies using artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? In Malayalam, it is called Nirmita Buddhi, machine intelligence. Assessment can be effectively used with the help of machine intelligence. Suppose, hello, listen to me. Suppose I'm teaching you writing. I want you teachers write a paragraph on a character. So what do you think about this character? Why do you like this character? And you are writing a paragraph. And Khalid has written a paragraph in which there is a topic sentence, major idea sentence, supporting details. He's telling why he likes the character and concludes. There is proper beginning. There is conclusion. Sentences are grammatically correct. All the sentences are linked properly. And idea is flowing from one sentence to another. There is coherence. Then he will get A+. So therefore, through artificial intelligence, I can give all the product of the students to computer. Computer will assess it, and computer will give individual feedback and grade it to the learners. So that is why using all these new assessment technologies and artificial intelligence, we call it AI. Recently, you came to know about a robot teaching in the classroom. Robot is programmed by an artificial intelligence model, but robot cannot replace teachers. That is another story. So anyway, these are all the new technologies that are changing the way our pedagogy is changing. Pedagogy has to incorporate everything. The KCF, when we wrote to KCF, all those things were not there. When we wrote to KCF, there were no new student expectations are not this much. No new technologies were not available. Flipped classroom model was not available. Animation, rich graphics, video, audio clips, these were not available to all the teachers. And also new assessment technologies. So all these things, they will change our what is called pedagogy of teaching, language, and all the subjects. Now let me come to the major challenges that English teachers face. The most important challenges we face are presently, number one, how to integrate technology. Number two, how to make these kind of materials which are interesting, which are able to address all the learners, which will enable them to construct language. So most of the teachers know, because I have been watching the classes and editing them and giving support to them using for the last 1 year and 5 to 6 months from class 1 to class 12. So there are some teachers, who are able to conduct very good classes. In class 1, class 2, class 3, up to class 12, there are teachers whose teacher talk is very good, whose presentation strategies are very interesting, activities are excellent, covering all the students. And also their classes are very interactive. Their materials like video, audio, etc., graphic, etc., are very appealing, because we are getting very interesting feedback. Those classes that are good. And I am not commenting on the person. Some teachers are very, very good. If you ask them in person, I will tell you who are performing well. I cannot tell you in such a Google Meet. Okay, that's not good. All teachers are doing good, but remember now, we haven't given any training to teachers how to make an online class. SCRT hasn't given. KIT is not authority to give, because our word is in technology, integrating technology. So therefore, the teachers are untrained how to take an online class. But still, Kerala has become, we have got a Kerala brand model of online English, which we are getting very good responses from outside Kerala too. So therefore, let me come to what are the difficulties that teachers of Kerala face. So number one, the major difficulty is the teacher presentation and teacher talk. What do you mean teacher presentation and teacher talk? In our classroom, we get lot of time for talking, lot of time for addressing different types of learners. But that is not possible in an online class. Has to end at 28 seconds, 28 minutes or 29 minutes. We cannot even take full 30 minutes. Some teachers prepare and come, and class will be over by 15 minutes or 18 minutes. Then we will ask her to prepare a lesson in which, because she can use all the 28 to 29 minutes. Because of lack of preparation, her or his class ends before the scheduled time. Why? Because teacher comes, faces the camera, she goes blank, whatever she prepared. In our classroom, I will be sitting there. There will be cameraman, there will be a producer, there will be light. And she has prepared well, but when she came before the entire team, she goes out. So that is because of performance. While performing before a group, all of us will be in trouble. We leave that. That is not the cognitive part, that is the emotional part. That is the emotional part. When we come across them, there are some students who shine well in the classroom. When they go for public speaking, they cannot remember anything. That is She's capable of doing it, but she failed to perform it before a group. That's the thing. So anyway, the major problem is teacher presentation and teacher talk. Most of the teachers, they speak in a monotone. What is monotone? Without any voice modulation. And there is some change in speech pattern. We do not know how to speak. While asking a question, do you agree with me? Yeah, do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? If you ask no, because there is intonation is up. Intonation. Do you agree with me? Yes or no type questions, they go with up intonation. Intonation up, voice up. Statements with the come. I agree with you, sir. I agree with you, sir. Or I don't agree with you, sir. And moreover, while speaking now, we have to stress the content words and unstress the grammatical. What are the content words? Nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs should be stressed. Suppose I say, I'm going to the market. I'm going to the market. Going and market. I'm going to the market. You can stress because it is, even though it's a pronoun, it's a subject. I am going to the market. I, going, market. To and the are unstressed. But we say, I am going to the market. So because there is a difference between English and Malayalam. In Malayalam, no, Malayalam is a phonetic language in which we utter all the words in the sentence. But English is an unphonetic language. So we people who have studied a phonetic language are learning an unphonetic language. We will apply all the strategies of speaking Malayalam into the speaking of English. Some people call it, what is called mother tongue influence, but I am not against mother tongue influence. Even I cannot speak like a white man. Why should I speak? White man cannot speak Malayalam like me. So Professor Asher, who translated all the works of Baika Muhammad Bashir, knows Malayalam very well, knows how to write Malayalam, knows how to translate. He studied Malayalam for many, many years. But when he speaks Malayalam, it looks like English. Okay, so therefore, I don't find problem with the teachers who are making errors in accents and pronunciation, but still, as a part of training, they can make it understandable to others. We can speak acceptable Indian English, but we should see that it should be acceptable to others also. So we have to make our English in such a manner that we are very good models in the language, because even pronunciation is one of the aspects of language. Not an important aspect, but one of the aspects of language. Because today's students are going to address the larger world. When I learned English, I can teach English only in Kerala. But today's students are going to other states, going abroad, going to other countries. So if they want to communicate with others and become comprehensible, they have to understand the difference between the two language systems. That is one. Another one, most of the teachers make some simple grammatical errors. They are subject-verb agreement. So some teachers say, one of the boy, instead of telling one of the boys, instead of telling one of the teachers, one of the is always followed by plural. Not only primary and UP teachers, even higher secondary teachers make that mistake. In high school classes while teaching, because presently we have started English medium too. As part of a consultant, I had to take care of all the teachers of English from class 1 to 12. And also the English medium teacher, you are teaching different subjects from classes 1 to 12. 5 days ago, I have listened to an English history class by a high school teacher in 8th standard. And I was shocked. Even teachers teaching in class 2 and class 3, they are using better English than a high school teacher teaching history in 8th standard classes. So therefore, this part, strengthening the language proficiency, strengthening the language apparatus of the teacher, strengthening the language accuracy of the teacher is also a need of the hour. So number one, most of the teachers make errors in subject-verb agreement. Number one, everybody uses the same question tag, isn't it, for everything. Do you agree with me? Isn't it? Are you hungry? Isn't it? Are you hungry? Aren't you? Do you agree with me? Don't you? So they have only a universal question tag, isn't it, for everybody. So 3 days ago, I received a very good chemistry class in English by a 10th standard teacher from Ernakulam. Her chemistry class was very good, no error, and also very attractive, and a model class. But there are more than 25 isn't it. My comment was, cut all the isn't it. Because this isn't it will give them, no? The students will in future also use this cliche isn't it in unnecessary places. Okay. Another one is, teachers always use discuss about. Actually, the word discuss means to talk about. So discuss about means talk about. Let us discuss some aspects of English language teaching. Not let us discuss about some aspects of English language teaching. Okay. Another one, there are a lot of prepositional errors. We are in the bus. Actually, it is we are on the bus. We are on the train. We are on the flight. We cannot be in the bus. Okay. Why it is on? Actually, now by logic it is in. But Britishers are using on. Logic says we are in the book is correct. But grammar says we are on the book is correct. We are on the bus is correct. And what is the time by your watch? It is not what is the time according to your watch. What is the time in your watch? By. Prepositional slips are also another major slips. And also, consistency in verb tense. What is consistency in verb tense? Suppose we are using past tense in a paragraph. And while telling everything in the past, if you are unnecessarily shifting to present, suppose it's a conversation between two characters, we can use present tense. But if you are, he came to my room and he came to my room and he gives me a book. He came to my room and he gave me a book is correct. That is called consistency in verb tense. Another one, issues with the plural. So most teachers use, he gave me information. He gave me information. Information can never be a plural. Luggages fell from the bus. Luggage fell down from the bus. One high school teacher used, he gave me many advices. I corrected her, he gave me many pieces of advice. Advice cannot be used in plural. He gave me many pieces of advice. Because you cannot say these are all Indianisms. So we Indians use a lot of mistakes. Like that only. I told you like that only in the wrong place. But that is an Indianism. Okay. We have preponed the event. In British English, there is only postpone. There is no prepone. But prepone is an acceptable Indianism. Okay. It's an acceptable Indianism. But we cannot say that he has given me informations. He has given me information. He has given me all the information. Or the teacher gave me advices is not acceptable. Teacher gave me 2 pieces of advice or 3 pieces of advice or a valuable piece of advice, etc. And also pedagogic issues. What are the pedagogic issues? Most of the teachers taking online classes only are adopting only lecture method. Classes are not at all interactive. They are not asking questions to the learners and eliciting the lessons from them. The classroom is not at all interactive. Another thing, they do not have pedagogical content knowledge. They do not have language proficiency. And also, they do not have discourse level treatment of language. So these are some of the things I would like to say. Finally, let me come to the G Suite. So government has finally, decided to implement a new online classroom for teaching learning completely at the school level. Say at the school level, Ghalib can take his own class to teachers. Unnikrishnan can take his own class to his students. Okay, as a supplementary to as a continuation of the online classes. So we have got a two-pronged approach, a two-sided approach. One is the online class as an input, as a reference, and the teacher classes as a continuation of the online classes in which the doubts of learners the questions of learners are answered, the problems of learners are answered, feedback is given, and also the products of learners are given, graded and supported, and proper feedback is given. And also, if necessary, some chances for learners are given in her or in his online class. So therefore, G Suite is a platform for school level online classes, and G Suite platform is completely free. It's a customized platform by Google, but Google has given us free. Google is not charging anything, and there won't be advertisements also. Most of YouTube, they give advertisements and they get money. But since it is a Kerala God, because in Victor's channel, you cannot see our own advertisements. We are not accepting advertisements. See, we are getting such a mileage that per day around 20 to 30 lakh students are watching. Even most of the televisions, like so many televisions that I don't want to mention the name. Okay, so we have got so many television viewers, but we have got more viewers than that present television viewers in Kerala, thanks to COVID-19. Okay, thanks to COVID-19. Anyway, the Google Workspace is a Google platform. And in this Google platform, you have got so many options. Option number 1, you can use Gmail. You can use shared calendar. And also you can use Google Classroom. And also use Google Documents, Google Presentations, Google Forms for assessment. And also there is unlimited storage. Since there is unlimited storage, all the teachers in Kerala can store everything. It will not collapse. Network will not become slow. So I think most of you are, most of you know Moodle, M-O-O-D-L-E, Moodle. This is massive orientation platform. Moodle is better than G Suite, but Moodle has one limitation. You cannot use it for many learners in the larger context of Kerala. So Google has customized the platform, but I think in future we have to customize our own platform, and Kerala will be able to do that. But we are doing the research at present. So KIT has got a separate artificial intelligence group, pedagogic group. SCRT is giving us support. In future, not only Google Suite, we can have our own model of free software, Kerala model of free software platform for the teachers. So in my platform, in my presentation, I have highlighted some challenges. I have highlighted some opportunities also. But remember, so I have experience of teaching in the entire South India and even outside India. I know most of my counterparts in RI Bangalore, English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad, and counterparts across the globe. But although they say, compared to other Indian states, compared to other countries, Kerala is doing very good. So that means we have given internet connectivity. Access is more than 90% okay. But in other states, the story is different. And we are, we are giving them continuous unlimited classes to all the learners. And most of the teachers like you are also giving classes to learners. Okay, but still are the learners sufficiently motivated? Are we able to continue are we able to maintain sustain the motivation level and interest? That is one. So when these learners come back to school after some time, will we find the same learner or a different type of learner? That's a big issue. See, the present 8th standard learner is actually a 6th standard learner. He passed 6th standard, there was no class for 7. Up to now, there was no class for 8th. Can they read 8th standard lessons? That's a big issue. Can they understand 8th standard mathematics, the numeracy, calculation, everything? Do they know the calculation? So in the post-COVID era, we are going to face lots and lots of challenges. Whether our same old methodology will work when we go back. Those teachers who are using chalk and talk, talking and writing something using chalk and the blackboard, the same thing will work. Will not. So therefore, we are going to have tough time. No, we have got lot of pluses, lot of, achievements are there, but challenges too. I don't know how we are going to face the post-COVID era, but one thing is sure: the teaching in post-COVID era will be entirely different from the teaching in the pre-COVID era and the COVID era. So technology has become an integral part of the teaching learning process. We cannot, we cannot survive without technology. I think my paper is for your general discussion, and I am not going to theorize anything in general. So thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to talk to teachers. So please share this particular video conference. Our Google Meet is only meant for establishing connectivity with you. Just like you teachers who are worried about your pedagogic practices, or worried about your learners, you're worried about the sustainability of the system. I'm also worried like you. We will put our heads together. Definitely, we will work for the best. We'll work for making our learners ready for facing the present global challenges. Definitely, we can work together. Let us have only, optimistic peace of mind. We'll work together. Thank you for listening to me. I have shared out of my own experiences. I don't want to theorize anything. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to my words.